Hello everyone, I am Sashank and my roll number is av.hc.u4aie23021. I am from AIA section. So I am going to present you the topic of GridView in Android Studio. So after by this lecture you will learn how to effectively display data in the grid format using the GridView in Android applications. Okay, coming to the next slide. The main agenda of this video is to understand the grid view in Android. So what is the grid view? How is it useful in designing Android applications? After this lecture, you will know the concepts of the basic for what is the grid view and how is it used, and the key concepts that make up grid view effectively for data display, and what are adapters, different kinds of adapters used in grid view, and what is the best optimizing techniques used for performance and user experience for grid views. And in the middle you will also see the code demonstration examples also, so that you can get a clear cut idea about how to implement a grid view in Android Studio. Okay, coming to the basic introduction of grid view. As you can see in this picture, we have a rose, lotus, lily, jasmine all arranged in a grid format. So this is nothing but the basic layout of a grid view. It is a two-dimensional layout. So it has two rows and two columns. Sorry, a different number of rows and two number of columns. So this is a basic two-dimensional grid view layout. So in grid view is used for actually to optimize the storage of different kinds of data, like the text and like the images. So with the help of grid view, we can arrange large amount of data in a small amount of space. So that is the basic advantage of grid view. So coming to adapters. Okay, their adapter is, we'll discuss it in the next slide about the adapters, but adapter is very essential for grid view data management. And what are the main components of grid views? Adapter is the main component. The layout manager, it defines how items are arranged in the grid view. And the views, okay, you will understand about these views in the coding part. There you can understand it very much clearly, like the UI components and all this all comes under the views. And the layout manager is used for space controlling, positioning of the images or positioning of the text in the grid view. Okay, and the adapters, what they do is they just create and bind data to the grid view, enabling dynamic updates. So we'll discuss about adapters. See, as you can see in this picture, we have an electric board, a mobile adapter and a mobile phone. So what adapter does here is it just connects the electric board and the mobile phone so that electricity can pass through it. So what adapter does in Android Studio of this grid view is we have the data source, the array list, the hash map, etc. and an adapter. What this adapter does is it takes the data sources like the array list, the hash map, or something, or different type of data which is stored in some format, and it just transfers those data into the UI component. So for example, if we have an array of images actually, and what adapter does is it takes those images and put them into the UI images. As you can see in the previous slide, suppose we have an array of rose, lotus, lily, jasmine, tulip, orchid stored in data format only. What adapter does is it takes them from the data source and puts them into the UI components, like the rose, lotus, lily, everything is displayed here, right? All this will be from the data source only. So in this way the adapter helps us. Did you understand it? If you have any kinds of doubt, please email me. I have given my email at the end of the video. I'll give you. Okay. So adapters are essential in building the gap between data sources and grid view components. They allow for efficient data management, enabling seamless visual display of collection in grids. So I think you got a basic idea of what an adapter is and how does this work. So we have some common types of adapters such as array adapter, cursor adapters, custom adapters, and base adapters. So there are different types of adapters which are used for different kinds of purposes. So now let me go you through the coding part. So Hello. Okay, now coming to the coding part. So let me put my video below here. Yes, fine. Okay. So in Android Studio, basically you have one app folder. In it we have the manifest, the Kotlin plus Java files, resources files. This one and all we know. So the important files here are the main activity, the grid adapter class, the drawable folder where all the images will be kept, the layout. Okay, coming to the layout files, we have activity main.xml. So okay, this is the activity main.xml file. What I did here is I created a grid view, the grid id, some layout width and layout height, and I grabbed it to center. Horizontal spacing I have given it as 10 dp and two columns, and the stretch mode is column width here, vertical spacing is 10 dp, and layout editor absolute x value I kept as 16 dp and absolute y value as 180 dp. So after keeping all these things, we get this as our layouts here. We have different kinds of cells here: item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. All these cells are a part of a grid layout. So we have two columns here, the y spacing and the x spacing is here. Okay, we can see it clearly. And we also have the grid layout.xml file. So listen to it carefully. We have different items in the grid view, and what should be in these items. We didn't define any kind of XML code to populate these items. If we write it manually, for every item we have to write the code again and again. So it is a tremendous tedious task. So we shouldn't do those kinds of tasks now. So what we did here is I have created a grid layout.xml file. So in this grid layout.xml file, I have created a linear layout. In that linear layout, I have created an image view and a text view. Okay, so this is the default image I took here. So in image view and text view, I have given different kinds of widths and heights for them. I have given a text size of 14 here for the text. So as you can see here we have the image view as an apple and a text view of item here. So all these parts, all these things will be populated into each items in this activity main.xml. Okay, so this is about the grid layout.xml and activity main.xml. So now coming to okay, annual manifesto XML is same. I didn't change anything about in it. And yeah, the main activity class. So in main activity class, I have main activity class here. So here I have made a grid view. Okay, I have called a variable grid view with the reference of grid view here. I have imported the grid view before, so I have put it into a variable called grid view, and the item names as this array of apple, banana, orange, mango, grapes, pineapple, etc. So all these are the names of the items. I have put it into an array of item names, and the item images. So into array of all these images. All the images I have put them into an array of item images. Okay, all these are variables now. Okay, they store the data or the arrays. This and all in the simple words are the arrays of text and arrays of images. Okay, now I am overriding the function of onCreate. In onCreate function, what I did is I have set the layout of main activity. So content view is the main activity here, and I have called I have created a variable here at GridView. Or this GridView I am putting it with the find view by id as r.id.gridview. Okay, so this GridView from this activity main.xml is being put into GridView here. Okay, so I have created an adapter here where variable adapter equals to grid adapter of item names and item images. Okay, this grid adapter is a class which we will discuss further. So these item names and item images are given to this grid adapter class as parameters, and GridView.adapter is equal to adapter. Okay. Oh, so the adapter is a function in adapter class. So GridView.adapter, I am putting it as an adapter. So this adapter is not a predefined adapter. We have defined it in a separate class. Okay. There are some predefined adapters, but we are not going to use them here. So okay. Okay, coming to next one. So GridView.adapter has this adapter with the adapter variable here. Okay. So next, GridView.set on click listener. So what I'm doing is when I click on a single item, it should be displayed in the bottom of the screen, like you clicked on example banana, you clicked on orange, you clicked on mango, all these things. So for that, I have made an on click listener here. Okay. So you clicked on, so I have made a toast message to be displayed when I click on a particular text. So it will be displayed like you clicked on banana, you clicked on mango, you clicked on pineapple, etc. Okay, now coming to the grid adapter class. In this grid adapter class, I have imported a grid view, context and layout inflator, view group, base adapter, image view, text view, etc. And I have created variables of context, values of array string. I have initialized these variables of images at int array, and I am we're inheriting the base adapter class. So when we inherit this class, we have to override some kind of functions here. This getCount function is overridden here, and getItem function is overridden. In getCount function, we are putting the values. We are putting value.size here, and in getItem function, we are putting those values positions, and in getItem ID function, we are putting uh, the position of those items in the long format. Here we are putting it in integer format, here in the long format. Now we are overriding the getView function. This is the important function, and here we should concentrate. In this and or default, we should do them by default, but here we can do this now. Okay, here we have a view. I have created a variable view with the layout inflator. Okay, this is also default thing, the view one, and the text view. Yeah, text view and image view. I have created a variable of text view. So text view equals to find view by id r.id dot text view, image view from find view by id dot image view. This text view and image view are from grid layout.xml class. Here in grid layout.xml we have this thing, right, that image view and text view, and these things will be put into these variables. The text view, these are the references of those things, and the text view.text I am putting it as the values of position. So as we have already inherited these things, not inherited, we are already taken from the parameters. In a main activity.kt, we have passed these things, right, the item names and item images. These arrays are now being populated into the activity main.xml through this. The text view.text, I am putting it as the values of position. Image view.set image uses, I am putting it as the image position. Okay, I am returning this view now. So this is what happens inside a grid adapter class. Now let us see how this runs. Okay. Yeah. Okay guys, now coming to the UI part, we have designed an app which runs in this way. Okay, we have an apple, banana, orange, mango, grapes and pineapple, which we have seen already in our activity main.xml, main activity.xml. Here, see here, we have an array of apple, banana, all these things, right, and the images, all these things are present here in the item layout. So if you see clearly, apple and a text view label, this is the image view and this is the text view. When I click on apple, wait a minute, yes, you click the apple. I click on banana, see pineapple, the toast message will be displayed like you click pineapple. When I clicked on mango, toast message will be displayed like you clicked mango. Okay, so this is for the app I made. This is a grid view layout, and I used on-click listeners here for your understanding. Okay, and I clicked on orange. You can see you clicked orange here. Okay guys, so this is the main working of our app. Okay, coming to the PPT again. So as you have seen in the coding part, we have seen that how to create a simple grid view layout and how to populate the data from the data source to the grid view layout using adapters. And we have also seen about the item click listeners used for user interaction in a grid view. I have showed you a basic example, so from that you can get a basic idea. You can even do complicated ones or more advanced ones so that you can understand it very much better. And coming to handling item clicks in grid view, we have discussed it about on click listener. We have the on click listener uh, a keyword, so which is used for effectively it allows us to respond to the clicks in a grid view. So it says that a user has clicked on this image or this part of the screen, so it just makes the computer or the mobile phone understand about the user interactions with the phone. So this is the work of the on-click listener. We have discussed it about in the code, so I'm not going depth into it now. So visual examples of grid view layouts in Android. So there are different kinds of grid view layouts. We have seen only a simple grid layout, which I have shown you in an example. So custom spacing is nothing but we have different spacing between different items. Like if you see here the big swimming pool and a small swimming pool. So big swimming pool have different spacing and a small swimming pool also have different spacing. So it allows the spacing between grid items for different grid items and different sizes. So it allows for different amount of spaces between different grid items, and different sizes allows for different sizes of the grid boxes. Which here you have all boxes of same size. With different sizes, we have this box will be of this much size, and this box will be of some small size. So there is nothing but different sizes and different spacing is nothing but this white lines you see here, right? So these white lines can be of more length here than this if we use different spacing in grid view. And the best practices for grid view usage. So while using grid view, the best practice is to use the recycle view also, so that it will be very much memory efficient. And you can use libraries like glide for loading of images, and image should be of same size. So you can read here on the screen like what are the best practices for it. So we should cache the images effectively so that it will be very much memory efficient. And we should also implement data binding also, efficient data binding. And layout hierarchy, yeah, this is a very important point. So we shouldn't create one grid view into another. Like it is like if you remember in DSC we have recursion, right? So one grid view into another grid view into another grid view, it increases the layout hierarchy and slows down the app and increases space used by the app. So definitely don't go for layout hierarchy. Instead of that, please use constraint layouts. And we have grid view troubleshooting. So if the basic small, what do we call the small problems, the common errors which we encounter while using grid view is adapter issues. So we should check the adapter properly, like is it the coding according to coding, is the code right, or is the adapter working properly, and all. And the layout problems, so we should verify that the XML layout and the grid view structure are similar and there are no differences in them. And the performance bottlenecks, we should optimize data loading techniques. So efficient data loading techniques can take the images very much effectively, or if the data loading technique is very much slow, then we can have some kind of bottlenecks there. So we must solve those issues also. And that's it guys, thank you for your attention and support. And here is my email. If you have any kinds of doubts related to this topic, please email me. I will be able to respond to you when I see the email. Mostly I will respond to you. So thank you very much.